Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about something pretty near and dear to my heart, and that is electronic dance music, EDM as they call it. So the Fine Brothers just put up an Elders React video to Marshmello. He's one of my favorite artists. I mean, I have a Marshmello head. I made a Marshmello head that almost cost me a chunk of my hand because I wasn't being very smart making it. But that's a whole nother story. In this video, I mean, it's their opinions. It's what they want to think. That's totally fine. But I'm gonna let you know my opinion on what they said, and I feel like they kind of gave a little bit of misinformation on the subject of house music, dance music, electronic dance music, and everything like that. But let's watch the clip real quick. Let's hear what they had to say.
Before we talk a little bit more about Marshmello, do you know what EDM stands for?
No, I have no idea.
EDM. Eat delicious marshmallows.
ED... electric dance music?
It's a good guess because EDM stands for electronic dance music.
Oh, you're kidding. I swear I've never heard it before.
Well, Marshmello is one of the biggest names in the EDM scene.
Kidding.
His YouTube
She's
channel
so
has
shocked.
over 1 billion total combined views.
So shocked.
have I been?
Marshmello's hot right now.
There.
What do you think about how this genre that is still relatively new is already getting these types of views?
I'm petrified. For the future of music.
I hate to say anything about how society is like dumbing down of a society. If somebody came and gave me a little tutorial on how to make music like that, I could probably do it.
It's all part of the evolutionary progress of anything. I feel sorry for the musicians, but on the other end, the people who make the electronic music, they're doing something too.
When I was growing up, everything seemed to be more traditional. I mean, you have to remember when the Beatles came out, people were just stunned and shocked. They thought that was just shocking. So would people think that this was shocking? I don't know. Maybe.
So what? The main points that I have is
Public.
What do you think about how this genre that is still relatively new is already getting...
What do you think about this genre that is still relatively new? It's not relatively new. It's been prevalent in society for a very long time. It is now only new to you because you didn't care about it and it wasn't in the mainstream. It wasn't heavily into like top 40s charts and anything until just a few years ago, maybe 5 even 10 years ago. It wasn't like that. It was underground, and the people who were fans of it were fans of it, and they loved it because of the music. I remember my dad telling me a story that like when Portishead was first kind of coming out and gaining some popularity, that I believe he saw one of their music videos or heard something of them on MTV back when they actually played music. And he tried to get a hold of some of the tapes or CDs, and a lot of the record shops or music shops that he went to said that they didn't even know what he was talking about, and it was hard to get a hold of these underground tracks unless you knew the people making them, or you had kind of an into the music industry to be able to get that sort of stuff. Independent labels and things that were producing house music. Yeah, my voice cracked. So what? House music and all that, all these other types of electronic music. It was really hard, but once the internet started to become a little bit more prevalent, it was a lot easier for people to get a hold of these different types of genres and kind of expand their musical taste. From there, I just feel like the way that dance music, house music, any type of electronic music is viewed in the public eye now is a lot different than what it was back then. I feel like nowadays somebody says, "Oh, I love EDM." They kind of have a preconceived notion about you that oh, he likes to get high, he takes Molly, he does ecstasy, he goes to raves, and he gets all messed up at to listen to some music or this or that. And a lot of other people saying that, like, oh, this music sucks so bad that you have to take these drugs to be able to enjoy it. That's not true. When I first got into it, it was always about the music. It was always about the music, and sharing that love of that particular type of music with everybody in the crowd. It wasn't about going out and doing drugs. It wasn't about going out and getting drunk or messed up or this or that. It was about the music. It was and I feel like it's lost its way a little bit. It's not about the music anymore. You got a lot of bros and you know, scantily clad women running around in nothing but their bras and panties at raves now, when back then it was all about trip pants and baggy shirts and baggy overalls and candy. And I feel like it's the true core message of dance music, house music, any type of electronic music was lost along the way. And like you said, it evolves, and it does evolve. But you know, I don't feel like it evolved for the better. I feel like it was convoluted by the way that with other people. Because I mean, growing up, even in high school, that's all people ever wanted to do. Oh man, let's go party and get drunk, and let's go do this, and like let's go smoke weed behind the church seminary. And it's like, why is that a thing? Why is that a thing that you just have to, you know, be on drugs and party and this and that? And those kids with those mindsets are now the ones becoming fans of this stuff and seeing, you know, whatever their older siblings or cousins are doing, and they feel like that's what it's about, when it's not about that at all. House music started here in the United States in the late 70s, early 80s, in Chicago. In Chicago, at a club that was opening up called the Warehouse. And the reason house music is called house music is because there's a couple of different stories that I've heard. This is the legit story. Is that this club called the Warehouse, where Frankie Knuckles was the resident DJ, was playing this newer genre of music. Right? In the beginning, it was a lot of disco, R&B, soul, you know, some reggae music being prevalent in these clubs, until Frankie Knuckles and Larry Levan and a few of these older artists like Future started making actual house music, cutting up records and putting a 4/4 to the floor, like doof 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 beat to them. And that's where it kind of spawned. And so from the club called the Warehouse, they took out the where and just called it the house. Hey, you going to the house tonight? Yo, you going to the house? I want to hear some of that house music. It's that Chicago sound. And that's where you got house music. Another thing was, from what I've heard, is that in the record shops where they have the labels, that you couldn't fit warehouse music on the entire like slotted sheet where they keep everything like out alphabetized. So they cut it down from warehouse to house music. But that was the legit story, is where it comes from the Warehouse, Chicago. You know, late 70s to the beginning of the 80s. And instead of calling it warehouse music, they just call it house music. So from then on, right there, like between 77 and 88 is when it was in its infancy and it started to grow. And later on in the 80s, it finally made its way over to the UK. People like Frankie Knuckles and Larry Levan and Future and Kraftwerk and all these places started going overseas and playing shows, and it kind of blew up. Now you see a lot more European influenced DJs growing up, and I feel like that's kind of a little bit that some people are misinformed, thinking that, oh, dance music started over in Europe, and it's like, no, it's all American made. They took it and they made it way better. I'm sorry, there are a lot of great American artists, but there are also a lot of major European artists from the Netherlands and the UK that are just wow. Like, I mean, look at Swedish House Mafia. They're all Swedes, and they're one of the biggest groups. Well, they're not a group now, but Axwell and Sebastian Ingrosso and oh my gosh, Steve Angelo. Jeez, I couldn't even remember his name. They were huge. I feel like once that started happening and it started to kick off, it was starting to become a little bit more prevalent in today's society, especially in the 90s with like Crystal Waters and Black Box and Sexpress and all those like house music tracks that you hear at like sporting events everywhere now. Pump up the volume, like pump up, like all of it. And that was great because back then in its infancy, it was all about the music. It was about the music. It was about that sound. It was about loving it, and it was cool. Now the way people are, it's not like that anymore. It's about the party. It's about the party. And for that guy to say, "Oh, I'm sure somebody could, just show me a tutorial on how to make this music, and I could do it," he's full of shit. I've been doing this since I was like 13 years old, mixing and DJing and producing, and no, dude, if somebody showed you a tutorial on how to make something like that, you would fail hard. You would fail so hard. EDM is nothing new. It's been in our society since the late 70s, early 80s, and it's only gaining popularity now. And it's gaining the popularity of everybody, which means that the pool's being diluted by a bunch of kids that don't give a shit about the music. Yeah, they like the artist, and yeah, they might like a few songs of it, but when you go broader into the spectrum of what they actually like, that's it. Those particular artists, those particular songs, that's what they like. Not the genre as a whole, not the way that it makes you feel. I just feel like the preconceived notion of all this stuff now has been muddled. And EDM's not new. It's always been around. It's just popular now. But I just feel like the way the industry is now, it's lost its way, and it's a popularity contest is all it is. It's not about the music anymore. It's about who you are as a person. But Frankie Knuckles says it right here. This is Frankie Knuckles. He's the godfather of house. He's one of the guys that made house music and dance music what it is today. Let's listen to what he has to say real quick.
I come from a party atmosphere and playing for parties, you know what I mean? Where you want people to embrace the music. You're never bigger than the music. The music is always going to be bigger than me and any other guy that's playing.
It's not about drugs. It's not about any of that. It's just about the music and the way it makes you feel.
It's not about drugs. It's not about any of that. It's about the music and how it makes you feel. That's how it was back then. That's not how it is now. And it's sad. It's sad to see that, because it's been changed to something that's not. I don't want to say exclusive, but those hardcore fans, they're still there. But it's not like it was, and to me that's sad. It was the mainstream media, like the Fine Bros. I wouldn't call them mainstream media, but the very popular Fine Bros, saying that, oh, it's relatively new, and older folks saying that, like, I'm scared for the future of music, when it's like, it's always been around, dude. It's always been around. Nobody's making anything new. It's been around, and I just feel like the culture has changed a lot, and things do evolve. They do, but I feel like they evolved for the worst. Bro kids and women running around in nothing but bras and panties, and crazy totems, and the fandom is just it's what it is now. It's not a following. It's not something that you like. It's a fandom. Going to events when I was younger, like 16, 17, it was amazing, because you look around, everybody's having a good time, everybody's chilling, everybody's dancing, and they love the music. You go now, and people are just like they're fucking zombies. They're like zombies, like, oh, this is popular now, it's what I like. I like that one song that Dylan Francis made one time, or I love Dead Ma 5. It's like, oh my god. It's not like that. It's not like that. They don't. I feel like a quarter of the people that go to these events are there for the music, and they're there to support the artist, and I want to see them do well and hear their new tracks that they haven't released yet. And the other 75% are just out there to get fucked up because they have nothing else to do with their lives. I know that sounds a little harsh, but I'm sorry. It's something that's dear to me, and I feel like all this the spirit of dance music has been tainted with mainstream media. And I'm glad that these artists are doing well, and I'm glad that they're popular. I'm glad they're doing well for themselves, but I'd like to hear what they have to say about it. I want to hear how they even from 5 years ago, how the scene has changed and how the vibes are till, you know, to present day, and see what they have to say. That's just my opinion, and I understand that for those older folks, that's their opinion, but that's not how I feel. I guess I'm not in agreement with their opinions. So that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. What they're saying is not necessarily wrong. I just think differently. And for them to say that EDM is, it's still a relatively new genre. What do you think about it? It's like, it's not relatively new, dude. It's been around forever. Been around forever. But thank you guys for watching. I'm going to link these 2 videos. This is Frankie Knuckles and the Origins of House, and they go through literally from when it started till, you know, a little bit of present day, because this was back in 2014, but it gives you a good insight. And if you want to actually listen to some of the music that started the movement of electronic music, I'm going to link this video in the description. It goes all the way up through Deadmau5 and the comings of like progressive house and all that. It's really good. But thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more stuff like this, hit that like button, comment in the comment section where you can type little messages to me, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.